floor to Asia Pacific Resource and Research Center for Women.
Madam Chair and delegates, this statement is on behalf of the Asia Pacific Research Center for Women, ARROW, the Abdul Memorial Foundation, Asia Pacific Women's Watch, and Shirkat Gah. Let me begin by saying, nothing about us without us. Women's organizations and feminist organizations must have a seat at the CSW decision-making table and be able to participate in developing the policies that affect our lives. This is critical to achieving gender equality, human rights, and the empowerment of women and girls, in ensuring the relevance of the Commission in achieving its mandate for the success of the post-2015 development agenda and achieving sustainable development goals. 20 years ago, equality was identified as a prerequisite to social justice and upholding human rights of women and girls, which was seen as integral, indivisible, and universal. However, progress against these have been uneven. Today, we continue to make these demands with the call to ensure sexual and reproductive health and rights for all, if we are to ever attain gender equality in a just and equitable world. In doing so, the diversity amongst women has to take into account the challenges they face and have to be addressed. Over 900 million people, mainly women and girls, still live in poverty. While many are hungry and malnourished, poverty limits access to resources, including sexual and reproductive health resources. Unequal access to education limits potential and prevents access to information on sexual and reproductive health services. Lack of comprehensive sexuality education aggravates misconceptions around sexual and reproductive health and rights, leading to unwanted pregnancies, susceptibility to sexually transmitted infections, violence within relationships, and child early and forced marriages. Maternal mortality and morbidity is still very high, caused by hemorrhaging, hypertension, abortion-related injuries, violence, as well as restrictive abortion policies and services, lack of access to contraceptive services, inadequate antenatal care coverage, and emergency obstetric care services. The lack of private sector regulation, privatization of healthcare, and high out-of-pocket expenditures limit access to health services as well. Early child and forced marriages continue to prevent the rights of girls to bodily integrity. They are denied choices and rights. Similarly, extent of harmful traditional and cultural practices on women and girls need to be mitigated. Growth in religious conservatism and fundamentalism, which places controls over gender and sexuality and curbs women's rights, also need to be challenged and addressed. Women are often considered the custodians of family norms and honor, and their bodies and sexualities often become important sites of religious control. In contexts such as these, women and girls are often prevented from accessing sexual and reproductive health services and interventions. People living with HIV are prohibited from accessing treatment and services. Finally, the increasing incidence of violence is concerning, and while laws and policies on rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment have to improve, effective implementation of laws and policies is important. Marginalized communities, including people of diverse sexual orientation and gender identities, and sex workers face additional vulnerability, and effective anti-discriminatory laws and policies must therefore be enacted and implemented. Given these challenges, we call on member states and the international community to ensure and provide universal access to sexual and reproductive health and rights for all, including information and services and comprehensive sexuality education, provide adequate and affordable access to healthcare, ensure resource allocation for health, including sexual and reproductive health and rights as a major component. We need to reduce out-of-pocket expenditure. We need to ensure effective abortion laws.
Please conclude.
And policies. There needs to be sound laws and policies for the prevention of violence, effective implementation, and high conviction rates. And we need to address the effects of religious extremism, including increased vulnerabilities to climate change, migration, disasters, poverty, and food insecurity, with a focus on marginalized groups. Thank you.